in our life for 53 years, 7 months, 17 days, 14 hours, and 29 minutes. Thank you, John, for that. My son, John, he's the accountant.
For 50-year-old Kelly Kolar and 53-year-old Kenneth Pullman, it was a season of impossible happiness. Both had already lived through a lifetime of pain. Kelly had clawed her way out of an abusive marriage, a difficult divorce that had left deep, invisible scars. Kenny had lost his first wife to cancer 17 long years ago. When they found each other, it was more than just love. It was relief. Their families saw it. They would later say they had never seen either of them so content. They were building something beautiful, a new blended family. Kenny's children, Brianna, Tyler, and Jenna, alongside Kelly's 15-year-old daughter, Gianna. It was supposed to be their happily ever after, but their new life was casting a long, dark shadow. Someone was watching. Someone who believed Kelly didn't deserve this happiness. Someone who had been nursing a grudge, letting it fester in the dark for months. Someone who would stop at nothing to burn their new world to the ground. To understand the light that was extinguished, you have to know who Kelly was. Kelly Jean Kolar was born in 1974 and grew up on Long Island. From day one, her family called her the ultimate daddy's girl. Her sister-in-law, Lori Patton, who had known Kelly for 27 years, said she was just light. She was the kind of person who called her mother every single day, the apple of her father's eye. She was beautiful. She was fun. She was the glue for her friends, the one who always kept in contact. A bubbly human being, Lori said, who always spread joy. She always had a smile on her face. She was close to everyone. Her nieces and nephews would later call her the best auntie ever because she never missed a soccer game, never missed a school event. After high school, Kelly's life took a familiar path. She met a man named Daniel Kolar. They married. Together, they welcomed a daughter into the world. Gianna and Gianna became the absolute center of Kelly's universe. From the outside, life looked normal. Kelly worked in accounting at a media company, balancing her career with motherhood. She was devoted to Gianna. Her sister-in-law said a lot of their world was cheer competitions, and Kelly was always there. Her goal was simple: provide for Gianna and make her as happy as possible. She took her on vacations into the city to Disney World. But behind that facade of family life, Kelly was struggling. Those closest to her knew the truth about her marriage to Daniel. Kelly was a private person. She didn't talk about her problems openly, but the signs were there. Her family would later use a single chilling word to describe Daniel: abusive. Police records would eventually show one documented domestic incident during their marriage. It was labeled non-criminal. But for Kelly's family, the reality was much, much darker than what appeared on paper. Eventually, Kelly made the brave decision to leave. The divorce proceedings were, by all accounts, contentious. That's the word Detective Lieutenant Kevin Bayer used. Contentious. What Kelly didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was the depth of the rage she had just unleashed. Daniel blamed her. He blamed her for what he saw as his financial ruin. And that bitterness, that resentment, it was festering, growing more dangerous with each passing day. The divorce was finalized sometime in 2022 or 2023. For Kelly, it was freedom. It was a chance to finally focus on being the mother Gianna deserved, and maybe, just maybe, find happiness again. She was emerging from the darkness. She was working, raising her daughter, connecting with her family. What Kelly didn't know was that her fresh start was about to lead her to someone who would change everything. And then, there was Kenny. Kenneth Pullman Jr. known to everyone simply as Kenny. He was the oldest of 4 children. His brother, Tommy, later recalled, "We weren't John. We weren't Tommy. We were always Kenny Pullman's little brother or little sister." Growing up, the Pullman kids played sports from morning till night. Stickball, football, you name it. Kenny was that guy. The center of gravity. Tommy said it best. If you knew Kenny, you loved him. And if you didn't know him, I apologize. You didn't get to experience his love for life and his joy for life. Kenny graduated from SUNY Old Westbury and built a successful 18-year-long career in the IT industry. But his real life was being a father. He had married young to his first wife, Kim. Together, they welcomed 2 children, Brianna and Tyler, and built a happy life. Then, in 2007, when Kenny was just in his mid-30s, tragedy struck. Kim was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Despite a brave fight, she lost her battle. Kenny was left to raise Brianna and Tyler as a single father. He threw everything he had into being the best dad he could be. He created the Pullman Foundation, raising money for cancer research in his wife's memory. His dedication was unwavering. Later, Kenny remarried and welcomed his youngest daughter, Jenna, into the world. But that second marriage eventually ended, leaving him, once again, a single father, this time to 3 children. But around 2023, about a year and a half before his death, he met Kelly Kolar. 2 single parents, 2 people who had been through so much pain, both ready to start over, and when they met, it just clicked. Kenny's father said it simply, they were soulmates. He brought the best out of her, and she brought the best out of him. They had a second chance. Kelly's family was just as moved. Her sister-in-law, Lori, said, Kelly was in love for the first time in a long time. She embraced his family, and he embraced Gianna. The time she was with Kenny was the happiest of her life. We've never seen her with someone that treated her so well. The couple moved in together. A beautiful $1.1 million 6-bedroom home on Brasswood Road in St. James. It was more than just a house. It was the foundation for their blended family. Kenny's 3 children, 25, 21, and 14, and Kelly's 15-year-old Gianna. Kenny's brother, Tommy, wanted to make one thing clear. This wasn't a casual relationship. Kenny's been portrayed as the new boyfriend or the new beau, Tommy said. He was not the new beau. This was 2 families coming together, creating something beautiful from the ashes of their previous tragedies. In June of 2024, Kenny threw Kelly the perfect 50th birthday party. For Kelly's family, seeing her so genuinely, truly happy, it was everything. They weren't married, but their commitment to each other and to their new family was absolute. Tommy said, I want people to focus on the love that they had for one another when they died. Divorced, not divorced. I don't care what the circumstances are. They died in love with each other. But there was one person who couldn't accept their happiness, Daniel Kolar. He watched his ex-wife's newfound joy with a growing, simmering resentment. A rage. Once he learned about Kelly's relationship with Kenny, the threats began. Kenny's family said there had been numerous threats from Daniel. The Pullman family knew Daniel was bitterly jealous, but they had no idea. No one had any idea just how dangerous that jealousy was about to become. What they didn't know was that Daniel had been planning his revenge for months. August 28, 2024. A typical Wednesday evening in the quiet, affluent Long Island hamlet of St. James. Kelly and Kenny were settling in for the night at their shared home on Brasswood Road, their sanctuary. 15-year-old Gianna was at home, likely preparing for another day at Smithtown High School East, where she was a cheerleader. It should have been just another peaceful evening. But 3 miles away on Harbor Road, Daniel Kolar was preparing to put his plan into action. Earlier that evening, Daniel had been driving with his own daughter, Gianna, in the car. His behavior had been erratic, frightening. He was driving recklessly, hitting things. The 15-year-old became so scared that she asked her father to just take her back to her mother's house. Daniel agreed. But once at the Brasswood Road home, he didn't just drop Gianna off and leave. At around 11:30 p.m., Daniel texted his 15-year-old daughter. He asked her about Kenneth's bedroom location. He then instructed Gianna to come outside and get into his vehicle. The teenager, unaware of what her father was planning, complied. She had no idea that she was about to become an unwitting participant in the most horrific night of her life. With his daughter waiting in the car, Daniel positioned himself behind a bush near the front of the house. He shopped through the front door lock, forcing his way into the home. He made his way upstairs to where Kelly and Kenny were. The attack was swift, and it was brutal. Both Kelly and Kenny were shot to death. In his haste to escape, Daniel left behind his sandals at the crime scene. As Daniel returned to his car, where his traumatized 15-year-old daughter was waiting, he made a confession that would haunt Gianna forever. He told his daughter, "I killed your mother and Kenny." The 3-mile journey back to Daniel's home must have been a living nightmare for the teenager. As he drove, Gianna began texting her friends in desperation. "I don't know what my father did. I don't know how my mother is." Her friends, panicked, tried to reach Kelly. They called and called again. They couldn't get through. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. At 11:45 p.m., Gianna called 911 from her father's home. She reported that her father was threatening to kill himself with a gun. Officers responded immediately to the Harbor Road address. Meanwhile, at 11:54 p.m., Gianna's concerned friends made their own 911 call. They reported that the teenager had left her mother's home with her father without Kelly's permission. When officers arrived at Daniel's home, they found him. They took him into custody for the suicide threats. It was Gianna who directed them to a black semi-automatic handgun that Daniel had hidden in the house. At the exact same time, other officers responded to the Brasswood Road address. What they found there was a scene of unimaginable violence. The front door had been forced open. Inside, they discovered Kelly Kolar and Kenneth Pullman, both dead from gunshot wounds. As the sun rose on Thursday, August 29th, the full horror of what had happened began to emerge. Police began processing both crime scenes, and what investigators discovered at Daniel's home was shocking. They found typewritten documents detailing his murder plot, in what prosecutors would later call excruciating detail. The planning document stated, quote, "I am of sound mind, and I know exactly what I'm going to do." Daniel had prepared individual bullets marked with the names of everyone involved in his divorce case. Not just Kelly and Kenny, but both parties' divorce attorneys. Assistant District Attorney Eric Abulafia would later reveal in court, Daniel even had a bullet for his own attorney. The evidence showed Daniel blamed Kelly entirely for what he saw as his financial ruin. His rage extended to everyone he blamed for his perceived misfortune. He hadn't just been planning a double murder. He had been contemplating a much larger massacre. Back at the crime scene on Brasswood Road, investigators found Daniel's sandals. One of them was discovered underneath Kenneth's body. Kenny's brother, Tommy, would later say what that meant. "My brother died trying to protect Kelly." Even in death, Kenny had been trying to save the woman he loved. Body cam footage captured Daniel's immediate confession to the murders. Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond Tierney called the murders a premeditated ambush and execution. On August 29th, Daniel was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. During his arraignment, he pleaded not guilty. The courtroom was filled with the victims' families and friends. Outbursts from the gallery. One person screamed, "Murderer!" Kelly's father, John Patton, described the sorrow the family was feeling as overwhelming. As prosecutors reviewed the extensive evidence of premeditation, the typewritten plot, the named bullets, the charges were upgraded. On September 6th, 4 counts of first-degree murder. If convicted, Daniel Kolar would face life imprisonment without parole. Then, the legal proceedings took a bizarre turn. While on suicide watch at Suffolk County Jail, Daniel suffered a self-inflicted spinal cord injury. He required surgery. He began appearing at court hearings from his hospital bed. The murders sent shockwaves through the Long Island community. The response was immediate and overwhelming. A GoFundMe campaign called Kenny's Kids was set up by his employer, Converged Technology Group, to support Kenny's 3 children. The fund raised over $148,000. A separate fund, Support Gianna After Tragic Loss, was created by Kelly's family to help the traumatized teenager. In just 5 days, the fund raised over $96,000, with more than 1,000 donations flooding in from people touched by the tragedy. Kenny's memorial service was held on September 3rd. Hundreds attended. Family members described him as a friend to all, whose smile and positive attitude were contagious. Kelly's services were held a day later. She was remembered for her vibrant personality and that contagious smile. Tommy Pullman was determined that his brother's legacy wouldn't be overshadowed by the violence that took his life. "We are not going to let a heinous murderer overshadow the life and legacy of my brother," Tommy said. "Number 1, we have his kids. His kids will be taken care of. I would tell him I love him. One more time. All of my siblings would tell him that. It was an honor and a privilege to be known as Kenny Pullman's little brother. We will always be Kenny Pullman's little brother. And for Gianna, the trauma of that night of being used as an unwitting participant in her father's plan of hearing his confession. It's unimaginable. The 15-year-old cheerleader now lives with family members, supported by her extended family and an entire community, as she tries to process the horror of losing her mother in such a violent, unthinkable way. In the end, Kelly Kolar and Kenneth Pullman had found a love that few people ever get to experience. A second chance, built from the ashes of their pasts. Their story is not just about the darkness that took them. It's about the brilliant, blinding light they created together, and the beautiful, fragile love that was stolen from them. And that's where we'll leave the story for today. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here and seeing it through. Please share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one I can. To everyone who have appreciated our work, I can't thank you enough. You are the engine that allows me to keep pursuing these important stories for this amazing community. There's more to come. Until then, take care.